Hey, welcome to Argo Everything. Today we are doing part one of a series on keyboard shortcuts. Today we're covering how to navigate within Windows, but there's so many keyboard shortcuts out there, so we will be breaking it up to make them easier to learn. I've never seen anyone make a video on using keyboard shortcuts, presumably because the type of people who use them um, easily know how to look up that kind of stuff and find the keyboard shortcuts they need. However, there's so many out there, I just want to show you a handful of really useful ones to get you started and kind of show you where to find keyboard shortcuts if technology is not really your jam. First, a little bit on why keyboard shortcuts are important. If you didn't already know, the reason that keyboard shortcuts are so great is because it allows you to control your computer without having to use a mouse. And mouse use is really, really not ergonomic. I have used so many different types of mice. They're all force you to use really repetitive motions and they just break down your body. Whereas using keyboard shortcuts, I feel like I could do it all day long for as long as I wanted. So let's get started. I'm going to use keyboard shortcuts to show you how to change a setting on your computer that's going to make using keyboard shortcuts easier. It's called sticky keys. I've actually never heard anyone in person or online really talk about sticky keys as an ergonomic solution. So, sticky keys make it a lot easier to use keyboard shortcuts. So, the instead of having to hold the modifier key, so the Control, Alt, or Windows key, and then while you're holding that down, hold another key. Instead of having to like reach like that, sticky keys, when you hit the modifier key, it just keeps that key held down until you hit another key. So instead of having to go like this to get a keyboard shortcut, I can just go bloop, bloop, and it makes them significantly easier to use. It also makes the shift key a lot easier to use because you don't have to hold the shift key while you hit the letter. So sticky keys are amazing. They take a moment to get used to, but they're really super awesome. So we're going to change that setting to make keyboard shortcuts way easy for you. And we're going to use my favorite keyboard shortcuts to do that. So first keyboard shortcut. Oh, by the way, I really wish I could put the keyboard shortcut on the screen, but I am recovering from an injury myself, and that is just too much video editing. So all the keyboard shortcuts will be in the description below. I'm sorry I can't put them on the screen. I will try to enunciate well, though. So the first one is going to be Windows S, like Sierra or saxophone. Let me just get a recording started. All right, so you're looking at my screen. We're going to hit the Window key and the S key, and that's going to automatically bring us to the search bar. So instead of having to bring my mouse all the way down here, anytime I want to open up a new program, I just hit that Windows S and then I start typing in the program. So here we're just going to open up the Settings app. So I started typing Settings. Now I'm going to hit the Enter. And then I guess a really basic tip, anytime you're in a program, hit the Tab key and see if that allows you to get where you need to go. So I just hit Tab and now I'm using the arrow keys. We are going to go to Ease of Access. Just hit Enter there. And then here, I'm going to hit Tab and I'm going to look for Keyboard. Okay, I'm hitting Tab again, and I'm going to use my mouse just to show you, but you see this Use Sticky Keys. So mine's turned on. Make sure you turn yours on, and uncheck Allow Shortcut Key. This allows you to turn sticky keys on and off, which is really just annoying. You kind of accidentally turn it off and on. So just use them all the time. They're great. So once we've got that turned on, we're going to use another of my favorite keyboard shortcuts to close this window. And that's going to be the Alt key and the F4 key. So you probably don't hit the F keys too often. They're the ones all the way at the top of the keyboard. Do Alt F4. It closes any program you're in. It's great. Okay, now the most commonly used keyboard shortcut for me is the Windows key plus a number that is associated with the applications open on the taskbar. So if I hit Windows 1, it's going to open up this first application, File Explorer. If I hit Windows 2, it'll do Google Chrome, etc. So I do Windows 1, pulls up File Explorer. Let's do Windows 4, and that's opening up PowerPoint. Going to do Alt F4 to close that. And the big thing for me is I like to associate the number with one specific application. I don't want it to change every time I use the computer, and so normally these go in the order that you open them up in. So if that is the case for you, you're going to take your mouse and you're going to hover over the application. You're going to right click, and then you're going to say pin to taskbar. So mine says unpin. We'll do that real quick. And then right click and pin to taskbar. And that way, all the time it'll be here, even if it's not actually open, it'll always be here, so you can just use that number to open it up or switch back and forth. And for me, I always know that my internet browser is Windows 2, and that makes it super easy to switch back and forth between programs. Another application I like, or sorry, another keyboard shortcut I like, is the Windows key and then the arrow keys. And it allows you to move the application without having to come up to the top and drag it around. That's no good. You also don't have to use minimize and maximize. So if I do Windows down, it made it smaller. Then if I do Windows down again, it minimizes it. You can also do the reverse, Windows up to maximize it. We can do Windows right to bring it to the side. Windows left to bring it to the other side. And then you can have two applications open at the same time, which is nice. In addition, so sometimes I switch between applications by doing the Windows number, and then other times I just use Alt-Tab. And Alt-Tab just switches you back and forth. Let me make these bigger again. Let's make you big so you can see properly. Alt-Tab, it just switches me between whatever two programs I have open. Sends you back to the last thing you had open. Also, if you hold the Alt key, then it lets you switch among the different applications you have open. And you can use the arrow keys or just hit the Tab key. And when you get to the right one, release, there it is again. Let's open up Word, which for me is always Windows 5. And I'm going to hit Enter, open up a new one. And then here, I just want to show you that a couple keyboard shortcuts that you honestly probably already know about, but just in case, Control S for Sierra lets you save, so I can make a name here and then hit Enter to save. And it says I already have one that exists. So let's do save with a different name, test2, and done. And then from any screen, really, if you do Control P, it will offer to print. So if I hit Tab enough times, I should be able to get to the cancel button. I'm going to have another video about browsing the web with keyboard shortcuts. It's a little bit more difficult, but very doable with a browser extension. But so from anywhere, Control P, that lets you print. And then always remember, too, that escape gets you out of whatever you did. Okay, this one's also really basic, but I do just want to point out that in most programs, if you hit the Alt key, it is going to show you what I call these little helpers. It'll show you a letter or number that you can click, that'll click the thing that's right next to it. So I want to go to the Home tab. I'm going to click H, and then it gives me a whole bunch of more hints. So in this case, I want to change the font, so I'm going to hit FF, And then from here, I can use the arrow keys to adjust the font, or I can type in my font. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to me. All right, so hopefully this has shown you the power of keyboard shortcuts. I do also want to show you one other thing. So this was just kind of navigating Windows in general. If you want to navigate a specific application, just of course Google keyboard shortcuts for that application name. So it could be Outlook. Earlier I was looking for keyboard shortcuts for OBS, which is what I'm using to record this right now. And you can, it sometimes takes a little work and you got to memorize a bunch of shortcuts, but you can generally learn how to do almost everything with keyboard shortcuts. There will always be that moment where you have to reach for the mouse again, but you can eliminate that need greatly. All right, so I think this has been really fun. I'm definitely trying to compile videos that have all the information I wish I had early on with my RSI. Let me know in the comments if you have any specific questions you want addressed, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed.